on the 24th day in the month of October, in an early year of a decade not too long before our own, the human race suddenly encountered Lord Googoo's stream. Tonight's performance of musical theater is good actually will run approximately 90 minutes with one intermission, and tonight the role of guest will be played by Mike Dr. Fuzz Dallape. Please take this time to silence your cell phones, note all emergency exits, and whatever they offer you, do not feed the plants. Musical theater is good actually. Musical theater is actually good. Musical theater is good actually. It's good actually, and actually good. We are back. We're here for another week. I pre-recorded it and everything to be super, super professional and cool. How is everybody doing tonight? Saturday night. Got a different background for the season because we're getting really close to it. I think we're ending Spooky Show Month really strong. Today is one of the most fun, best shows, so I'm very excited. And then, as you may have seen, the ad for next week on Halloween, on All Hallows Eve itself, Lady Googoo and I are going to be sitting on our couch, and we are going to be watching some horror musicals. And we're going to be watching Jekyll and Hyde, starring David Hasselhoff. I want to say that's from around the year 2000-ish, or sometime around then. And it's very great. And then after that, we're going to watch Repo, the Genetic Opera, starring Paris Hilton and Sarah Brightman and others. So, that's going to be a great old time. And we're going to be getting lit and, getting shit-faced or all that kind of thing. I don't know. Whatever you kids do on the Halloween. This is going to be the most I've celebrated Halloween in a long time. And it's in quarantine, so. But folks, I need to stop wasting time here because I have such a great guest and everybody's so excited and not as excited as me because we're going to get into it. Our guest tonight is a legend of the Slurp fam, associate producer of Jack AM, co-host of the podcast movies.edu.gov.buzzcast.network. And he is a very Italian man, but don't worry, he is one of the good ones. Please, ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Dr. Fuzz. Here he is.
Hey.
We can hear Fuzz.
It's me.
My transitions are so smooth. Thank you. I worked really hard on it.
I do have one note.
Mm-hmm.
I am the host of the podcast. Rocco is just an associate.
I'm sorry.
He is a constant guest.
And I had host originally, and I second guessed myself. So should have trusted my instincts.
No, don't worry. I get it. Rocco's been spreading rumors around that.
Yes, get all the Fuzz.
More involved.
Get all the Fuzz emotes going.
Yeah.
Oh, I did want to mention one thing that, because I do have Twitch affiliate status, I meant to actually say this before I brought you up, but I can say it now too. There is a new sound alert. It's 25 bits. It's very fun. One of my absolute comedy heroes, just heroes in general, Tim Heidecker. He has noticed me. He said my name. He didn't know it, but I now have a sound alert of him saying that. So if you want to spend 25 bits on that, you can. Okay. Fuzz, welcome to the show.
I have a question about that, too,
yes.
Now that I think about it.
Yes.
Where did your was your Lord Googoo of the same origin as
Absolutely.
Tim Heidecker?
No, that's it.
Really?
It was
Wow.
seriously, I was high and I was like walking around and then I just started laughing to myself because I had the fully formed thought the opposite of Lady Gaga would be Lord Googoo. And it was like Lord Googoo is a funny like funny words.
Yeah.
And I was also kind of I like kept jumping around between Twitch names and I like didn't like any of my and I was like, eh. And so I was like, okay. And that was the one I just kind of committed to. So
Hey, it's a good one. I mean, maybe you could even sue Tim Heidecker
well,
for
be like,
taking
Tim,
your joke.
I'll let it go if you guess on musical theater is good action.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna do that. Oh, Fuzz. So we got a lot to cover here. Musicals. I mean,
It's a big one.
we're gonna get into it. We're gonna unpack all of your feelings, and I think there's of course no better place to start. The real heads know how we always start our interviews here. I just realized that I'm gonna just crap you a little bit here because we got to show our quiz, the musical quiz, to get to know you, where you're coming
I'm
from
familiar.
with musicals. Okay, great. So we'll start with the first question, and please answer honestly. What statement do you agree with more? Musical theater is the pinnacle of human achievement as the purest and most complete synthesis of all art and performance, or musical theater is an abomination before God and man and destroying us as a society and human race. Which statement do you think is more true?
Okay, like I said, I'm familiar. I checked this out. I was ready for this question. And my answer is both, I think. And I think it just depends on when I'm walking out of either a good or a bad musical that I've seen. Like, I think if I sat through Hamilton, and I know that's banned here, and I walked out, I would have the second opinion. But
Well,
there's been
especially if
some-
you spent like $700 on your tickets.
Yes, yeah, especially that. But like, I saw there was that Jesus Christ Superstar at the Pantages like last year, and after that, I had walking out of that, I had the first opinion. I was like, hell yes, that ruled. Like that was amazing. So I think it just like really depends on
But
what your last experience.
What is it that you think in bad musical theater or the musical theater that just like would drive you crazy, to make you think that it's like bad for us, like that level?
Well, there's some things where it's just like context where that would be the type of if I just think the subject matter is dumb, I'm not gonna like it. Whereas sometimes I saw Kinky Boots. You know that one?
Yeah. Well, I don't know it very well, but I'm familiar with the show. Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed pretty like the plot seemed very like I don't know, kind of just like cliche Lifetime movie-ish.
Well, it's a movie adaptation. It was an indie movie that was adapted into
really, I had
show.
no idea.
Yeah.
So I mean that explains it, but I
There's
didn't
a lot
think
of those.
I would enjoy it that much, but I really enjoyed it.
I'd say
it was
in the past 15 years at least, if not more, at least, and this is just like pulling out from back of my head, I'd say at least 60% of new musicals have been movie adaptations.
Like for sure.
Like Kinky Boots was like and that's one of the better ones. And then I'd say like there's also we were DMing about this earlier with the show we're going to talk about tonight. There's also the classic musical to movie to back to musical again.
Yes. Yeah.
And no, other way around. Movie to musical to movie. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
So Little Shop of Horrors is the classic example of that because there's the B movie that the musical is based on, and then that got adapted to the movies. And The Producers is another classic example of that, and as is Hairspray. Those are like
oh yeah,
the most classic examples. Yeah, but it's happened. Yeah, Hairspray. There you go, party. Yeah, that's exactly right. And it's just there is an interesting quality that happens with that, like Hairspray especially. Like you think about like John Waters to then it gets kind of you can't stop the beat, like Martin, like that very like up like tempo poppy, and then like but to be like a big Broadway hit in the mid 2000s, which is like a big kind of that's right the era of Wicked and all that. So it's like big mega show, and so they need to sell it to the tourists or whatever, and so it's really like happy, like the whole family can go, and then it gets copied again to a movie now, and now John Travolta is doing a Baltimore accent. John Travolta in Hairspray is one of the most terrifying. That's one of the most terrifying sights.
It's great, man. I love his willingness to go all out there now. He is pretty crazy in his role choices now.
And I went to school outside of Baltimore. I know a lot of people with like thick Baltimore accents or Maryland accent. And he did the absolute worst I've ever heard. It was great.
But to get back to like what separates, what makes the musical good, I would say it's like it's more so than going out to a theater and seeing something, an experience that feels personal. That it depends on like who you are at the time and who you're going to see it with and what the occasion is. It like plays, I think, a big factor in like going out to like see a play and like where it's at, like just the whole setting of like what it is at the time. Because one of my favorite musical experiences was seeing the fucking like Beach Boys musical, because I saw it when I went on an 8th grade trip to New York, and it was just me and my 8th grade friends just like for no reason, just like laughing our asses off because we were just kids, like either making fun of shit or laughing at the dumb jokes they did. So
that's amazing. Yeah, I've had great experiences seeing like ridiculous theater that like my friends and I will talk about more than like the best shows that we saw. We will just reminisce about bad theater.
That's like my one of my favorite movie theater experiences was Wolverine Origin, just because we had it was us and 2 other people in the theater, and like it was just me and my friends cackling the entire time at how bad it was, and like it just
I mean, one of the last big trips I did was I did a trip to LA. I was talking about this last week with Jane too. I did a trip to LA, and we saw Cats at the Alamo, like downtown, like on a like Monday night or something. And that was amazing. And it was supposed to be, there was a rowdy screening after us, but there's no non-rowdy screening of Cats because like everybody is just cracking up. And it was so that by like, it's really when Judi Dench, Cats the movie. When Judi Dench like crosses, like comes out of the mist and like just slow-mo walks towards the camera, that's like the point where like everybody loses it and the whole audience just, and then it's like, the laughter feeds on itself. It's so good.
It's so funny that you mentioned there's no non-funny like rowdy screening of it, because I saw it like in kind of like closer to where I am, like north of LA, so it was like a smaller theater, and it was like, there were some couples, so like some groups of people who were probably like my group, who were like, oh my god, this is gonna be so bad, kind of expecting it. It wasn't that packed, and there were a bunch of like older people there who were just like, oh, the musical,
right?
So
the hit show.
But you're right that I turned around, even the old like woman behind me who didn't look like she was gonna crack a smile the entire time, by the end was like, what is going on? Like she was reacting like. That movie will bring out an audience to
like
just say,
you keep thinking, okay, the crazy stuff is over, and then like Judi Dench is like, a cat is not a dog, and you're like, I lose it again.
Yeah, and the way the audience all like, you can hear everyone cringe at the Rebel Wilson part with all the mice dancing, and all the CGI is like horrifically off. Everyone's just like, oh.
Yeah, and it's like gross, and like some of it's purposefully gross, but it's also just like, and also I feel like, because my wife and I recently rewatched it. We're like totally off track just on Cats talk, but that's always fine. is that of everybody in the movie, I feel like she always knew it was going to be bad and was kind of making fun of it, in like her performance, like she was already doing the sort of ironic, like making fun of it. And I didn't think that like really anyone else was doing that to that degree. Like even James Corden, I thought was more bought in, most bought in by far. Don't even have to say it. Ian McKellen. I mean, the guy is so committed. It's unbelievable. When he rubs against the post backstage, I'm like, he should get an Oscar just for that.
Yeah, and I may argue Idris Elba. Oh, yeah. But it's hard because he kind of like...
Well, he gets fucked by his song and everything about that, and the whole Taylor Swift of it all is one of the worst elements of the movie because it's just so unnecessary and dumb.
And she had that song she did with Andrew Lloyd Webber in it, right?
Yeah, but she doesn't sing it in the movie. That's annoying. Anyway, I wanted to circle back to something you're saying about like the night that you kind of go to see it, because something I've observed performing musical theater is that there's a really different feel of audience based on like night of the week. Like I find like Friday night are typically fun because they're already like they decided to go out on Friday night, like they're kind of loose and like the week's over, they got the whole weekend ahead of them, so they're like, this is great. Saturday nights are hard audiences. Musical theater is Thank you, perfect speller. Thank you. Saturday nights are tough audiences because that's like the audience is basically like, all right, this is my Saturday night, like what do you got? They're like, let's go.
They're expecting more.
Right. Yeah. And so it's kind of, then again, like but then when you get them, it's like awesome. But yeah, I mean, that's the real difference though, is the live, I always say that exchange, that magical, if I want to get like really Marianne Williamson frou-frou about it, like that magical exchange of energy between actor and audience and all that. It was like, that's what it's all about. And yeah, the energy you get from the audience is like
it is everything. A magical thing because I think in around when I was in middle school or high school era, maybe somewhere like in the middle of that. I don't know why it reminded me of this, but me and my sister went to go see for Halloween. My family went. Me and my sister sat in the front row of like this Dracula play, and the lead guy playing Dracula literally spit as he was talking on us in the front row.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, and then we started cracking up about it and distracting them because we were in the front row while it was happening. So I was like, damn, this is the only place where this could happen. This like weird experience of someone trying to put on a performance, fucking up in a weird way, and like I don't know,
that's what thing. It's the very particular way that you have to talk and you have to enunciate to make sure you're understood or whatever. But like I'm very guilty of that as well because I'm a wet boy, and I'm like
same,
and you have to like and you want to be like pa or like or whatever, and it's like
I do not talk, especially like getting high all the time. Like you just don't really realize it sometimes, and you're like, shit, I'm sorry.
Yeah, right.
Just relaxed my mouth muscles too much.
Right. So
whacked around.
And also like you're doing stuff like talking a lot or singing, and so like your mouth is like having to lubricate itself or whatever, and 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 I performed the theater I performed at the most or I did when you could do that was like a really like 120 seat pretty small like in a like warehouse kind of black box theater, and it's always like a wall of audience kind of like because they're so sort of steeply stacked there, and so I've definitely spat on some of those people, and I think that they should feel honored. Okay, next question. What is your musical theater archetype? Ingenue. Oh, I think that's it. I think we got it in one. Ingenue, villain, sidekick / friend, character actor / comic relief / old, or other, specify. So like what classic musical theater character are you?
I would probably be like a comic relief, like a Mercutio type. Like the comic relief that's such a like smart ass that his like death prompts the end of an act,
Right. He's one of those like one of the outsiders that's like a little too brash. He's gonna get cut in the whatever, like because
Yes.
he's so like the Michelangelo of the bunch, to put it in Ninja Turtles terms, as we always must.
Yeah.
That somehow he's the one.
That's it. Yeah, you should ask what musical theater archetype are you? Michelangelo, Donatello, Raphael.
I am Casey Jones.
Yeah. April O'Neil, Shredder.
Oh shit! I had something else. Oh.
Oh no, but yeah, I said I would be the Mercutio. I'd be the guy that died.
Oh, I realized
like,
who this character is from another one of my favorite movie musicals, especially my favorite movie musical as a child. And one of my favorite characters from this is the musical is Newsies, and the character, of course, is Crutchy, the one that has a crutch. And
yeah.
and Crutchy, it's like the strike is really catching fire, and that's like the end of the first act. Crutchy gets caught and put into the like boys' home or whatever. Like he gets put into like the juvenile like detention center. So
oh, poor Crutchy.
You're Crutchy.
I guess I'm Crutchy.
Yeah, that's I love that musical. Only the movie.
I've never seen Newsies. I will check it out. Like I said,
mean,
I'm not.
Robert
I
Duvall.
can probably name on my hand the amount of like. Stage play musicals I've seen some movie musicals.
I don't know. It's probably really bad to just come to as an adult, but as a child, I loved it, and it's also I've said this before on the show. It's largely a source of my leftist politics. Is because from a very young age I was just like, yeah, unions, right? You get a bunch of people together, and it's like better, cool. I was like down.
Yeah,
that's why I loved Newsies. It's like the idea of like a bunch of kids like being like, no. We're forming together. I loved shit like that, like Camp Nowhere. Did you ever see that movie as a kid?
No.
That's with Christopher Lloyd's in it. It's not good. It's bad, but it's like basically these kids trick their parents to send them to this camp that they're just gonna run themselves and just do whatever they want for the summer. Like
I saw it. The camp movie I saw was Heavyweights.
Oh, and I love Heavyweights as well. That is,
isn't it?
That's great.
It's like weirdly seared into my brain of just watching that like all the time one summer.
Yeah, I saw that in theaters. And Ben Stiller is really funny in that, actually.
Yeah.
What's the next question here? Okay. How do you musical theater? So this is like interesting because you're saying that you haven't necessarily had the most exposure. So like when you have, like how often would or in what way would you seek out a musical? Like how do you hear like songs from a show or something? Or I guess a lot of it is Jack plays it and makes us all watch it sometimes.
Yeah, there are those times,
right.
But I can like kind of catalog right now throughout my entire life of musical theater exposure. I would say, it all starts with the school trips, the school field trips where we go to see the Nutcracker or something. Then obviously the school theaters, being in the musicals there. I was in Wagon Wheels West. I was the lead. I had to sing a song about being hanged the next day, which was weird to do as a 10-year-old child.
So this was one of those like shows that was written to be like a school play show, kind of. Is that?
It's gotta be just one of those like countless the like green covered those things. Like my mom was a drama.
Was this middle school?
Had like stacks of those. That was 5th grade.
Oh, okay.
So before. And then I got back into drama in high school. I wanted to go to the drama, but the drama class like teacher was like kind of just a piece of shit. Like really had like literally one time we just watched a movie and he said make a Venn diagram,
Just,
and we didn't know what he meant. So it was like on the outs, and I was like, man, this drama department sucks. And literally the year I left, they had like some new younger teacher who was really energetic, and they did like Evil Dead the musical and like fun stuff. So I was
yeah.
like, oh, I missed the boat on like the cool drama teacher.
I mean,
So
it's so true though. It's like that is, and that's like so often all the difference of like what like just having like a cool program. Like even like people that don't stick with theater, like most of the people I did theater with in high school. I mean, well, actually a few. Couple notable exceptions that are doing extremely well, and there's a few people that are still acting, but like most get out of it, but I think that they all like it's a really really great like thing, and they like hold on to it more. And so you didn't really get to go there all the way because it's just like, yeah, you when you have like a shitty program or no program, that's like the other reality.
yeah,
like there's
exactly.
no program for a lot of people.
Real. At least I had the program, but
Right.
the most use I got out of the program was working the concession stand while the play went on and getting very high.
That sounds good.
But I mean, hey, it was fun. I didn't learn much about theater, but yeah, I would say how do I musical theater and like how do I come across it is just like I honestly feel like most of it is through movies. Most of the musical soundtracks I listen to is stuff from movies, including like this one. Even though I saw the movie first before I even knew it was like an actual stage play musical, because one of my aunts put it on at Christmas. You know, like oh hey, let's watch this movie out of the DVD collection. So I just come across it, but like I said, I had gone to the Pantages recently. It's really it's one of those things where I probably won't turn it down as an activity. I don't ever present it, but if someone said, hey, do you want to go see this and plan to see this, and it's something I'm like kind of interested in,
yeah,
I'd say yeah. Like that's why I saw Kinky Boots and Jesus Christ Superstar, and like I enjoyed both of those as like for the price of what it was, you know.
Well, and for what it was, yeah, for what they were doing.
And yeah, exactly. Like you mentioned Hamilton, couldn't imagine how much I've seen of it already and disliked, and then going in to see it and paying that much that I would ever walk out.
Have you watched?
Happy.
Have you watched the one that the Disney Plus one?
No, I can't even do that.
It's really well done. I mean, just like in terms of how it's shot. Well, this
how
is
it's shot. I'm sure.
Well,
but...
and actually, this is a total sidetrack, but it just reminded me that I did do something the other night. I watched most of or a lot of the West Wing special.
the one on HBO Max.
Yeah.
I have HBO Max. I probably should check that out.
Well, because I did watch actually probably 2010 when I was getting the Netflix mailed DVDs. Back when I was your age. The Netflix came in the mail.
Oh, I got the Netflix DVDs.
And that was
I had those.
And that was the show I was watching then, and at the time I was like, this is so great. Or whatever. And now I I don't know if people have looked through Brianna Joy Gray's thread, that ongoing thread of her watch through of West Wing, where she just posts the worst shit, and it's I
have seen that.
Oh man, some of the stuff that got on there. But
luckily, I had parents that loved it, so my way of rebellion was one of my little things. Of rebellion was hating it, so I just never got into it because I was like, "That's what my parents like."
Well, that was what was dumb, was that I didn't watch it when it was on at all, and then I was in Chicago, just out of college, and I was like, this is the show I want to watch on Netflix, and oh, it's so cool. I love Obama. Anyway, so it was so that's, it was cool. But it was very interesting just in how it is staged, because they have very minimal kind of set, but the way that they film around the set pieces and they kind of stage it to suggest the different scenes, I thought was actually kind of cool.
From even the clips Jack showed on Jack AM and made fun of, I was actually like, oh, that is interesting that they're like doing like a simulation of what it would look like on a set.
Right.
And it's pretty close, and it takes like there's like some weird like artistic interpretation to like how it's all done.
Yeah, well, and that will come up. We'll talk about sort of that a little bit later because I have a lot of clips of a concert version of Little Shop that we will be showing, and so they do some sort of similar kind of staging stuff with that.
I'm stoked for that, and like I don't know if I mentioned this while we were live, but yes, I've never seen this one. I've seen
it a
movie,
couple
never
times,
seen the musical.
And
I would like to, you know.
I don't think I saw it on a really professional level. It was recently done here in DC, and I had a bunch of friends in it and did not see it because just sometimes I'm a shit who doesn't see. Like honestly, I love performing theater, but it's like hard for me to even get out to come see it because the cost factor, and also it is just like it's a lot of time. It's always a worthy investment. I always am not like glad I went to the theater, but sometimes,
you know, I
especially
think
like
did
working
this one in
and
my
stuff,
high
yeah.
school too, but I didn't see it.
Yeah, and it's such a fun show because it's so well composed and well structured and clear in the character types and all that kind of stuff that it's pretty hard to fuck up. Like if you have like the people that can just basically understand that, yeah.
That's so right, and there's also an inherent goofiness to the original, to where the fact that it's a spoof on like so many things that it is kind of fun to goof around. Like it's good for high schools because it's kind of goofier performances. It's exaggerated stuff,
and it's like dark and bloody and all that kind of stuff. That's
you have that fun mixture. Mm-hmm. It's very nice.
All right. What musicals should be more popular or beloved, and which should be less popular? I already know your one answer for less popular. It's been made clear, so everybody knows my opinion on Hamilton is it is equally terrible and amazing in equal measure. I'm a total both sides are there.
Honestly, I'm like I don't know about. I don't know so much about like the musical theater world. Where I'm like, what is fair. Deserved to be popular and not popular?
Mm-hmm.
I will say this, and I know you're gonna hate me. I don't like Stephen Sondheim.
Well, that's incorrect.
And I know. But here's the thing: watching your show as like a huge Stephen Sondheim critic, or just like a person who has never even looked into it, has just seen from the movie world. Watching you talk about him has made me want to read about him more and get into him and actually
I'll give you like a viewing list and like the order and stuff.
Yeah, I would love that because it's something that there's not been a good.
The only good movie adaptation of Sondheim is A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum, because it's like
exactly
that's like a lot of the original cast and everything, and yeah.
My only the thing I'm like Stephen Sondheim, and only movies though, not musicals, like Sweeney Todd movie and Into the Woods, and I'm just like, my vision is so like tainted because I'm just not in the world. But watching this program made me appreciate Stephen Sondheim. Or I'm just like, I should get into him. I shouldn't give him such short shrift.
Yes, party cockroach.
So I will say Stephen Sondheim should be more popular / beloved in my eyes, at least. I'm sure he already is across the world, but
well, I'm glad that I've already converted you. Like, it's funny that you bring up like the Sweeney Todd movie because something that I was thinking about with this movie is just how awesome the urchins are, the chorus, and like what a good device that is, and how Frank Oz, Yoda, we should just not like waste any time just pointing out that Yoda directed the movie that we are going to be discussing tonight. It was directed by Yoda.
And one other thing, this is a Muppets musical.
Yeah.
You could replace almost every single person in here with a Muppet, and it would
well, it also literally, the Creature Workshop was involved, and Brian Henson is one of the puppeteers credited on the archery. So
yeah, it was, but even in like the downtown sequence when everyone's
Oh, yeah.
singing, I'm like, I could imagine every single Muppet because they're very exaggerated.
or like
I don't know,
Christopher
cartoony.
Guest's cameo I really love too, and he's so like, oh, what a strange and interesting plant, like that kind of thing.
That's
Yeah.
one of my favorite performances. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that because that's so funny.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's finish up.
Mhm.
Let's finish up this quiz. Last question. In the musical of your life, what are you singing as your 11 o'clock number? What is Fuzz's like final statement in Fuzz the musical?
Uh, it's it's me apologizing after getting canceled for something. It's me being like, I didn't mean it that way.
I'm listening and
Quoting a
learning.
movie.
I'm listening and learning.
I was just quoting a movie and using a GIF. I didn't even realize the N word was in the quote.
I was hacked. I'm
turning my avatar black. I'm writing a Medium post.
I am locking my account with over 1 million followers. That's great. I love that. All right. Well, we're clearly itching to get into Little Shop, but so let's take a break. I'm going to take a true 5. I'm always like coming back way too quick, so we're going to take a true 5. So
Works for me.
At 8:45 Eastern, best time zone, only time zone. We will be back. So yeah, stay tuned, everybody. We're back. Oh, we're not doing the quiz anymore. Take that away. Oh. Hey. Okay. Oh, Fuzz, how was your break? Good.
I had a nice long piss and got some water.
Excellent.
So,
Everybody will note that Fuzz has changed his lighting as well. We celebrate a brighter Fuzz.
oh yeah, and my cat's up now, so my cat may just barge in the room and start meowing very loudly.
Awesome.
So fair warning.
My cat is sitting next to my beloved wife, Lady Googoo, on the couch here, and then there's my cat on the arm of the couch. So that's everybody. We got our cats around. That's the cat status. But invited you here tonight, Fuzz. We're going to discuss.
What's next, Lord Googoo?
That makes me so happy. Thank you, Perfect Speller. We are going to discuss one, and I have to say, because the second episode of this show was with Yonkler, and we talked about what I said was the best movie musical of the past 40 years, and I am going to have to take it back. I'm going to have to say that is the best movie musical of the past, 25, 30. Basically, this is Little Shop of Horrors is better than Mamma Mia too, but it's close.
I would say so, but I've seen Mamma Mia 1. I haven't seen Mamma Mia 2.
Mamma Mia 2 is much better. Much better. I cannot stress it.
It looked just fun.
It's incredible. It's one of my favorite movie musicals. But Little Shop of Horrors, I mean, this to me is one of, and it's almost like underrated in some ways as like one of the all-time great comedies of the 80s. Like it's so good, right?
Yeah, and we mentioned it before. It's that balancing of a giant killer plant that eats people with the not in a bad way, but kind of corniness and goofiness of what entails from it, and it. I think even on the Wikipedia, it's a spoof of not just like it's B movies, horror movies,
and musicals
itself.
Right.
Like and being a spoof of a musical itself, it has the songs, even though they're so musically, the fact that they're revolving around all this violence and murder around an alien man-eating plant makes it like I don't know, more bearable.
Yeah.
even though they're bangers, even if I heard them in a regular
mean,
musical.
Like, especially, we're gonna get into some of the differences between the stage show and the movie, and some of the songs that they cut, but especially the songs that make it to the movie, there is not a dud. They all are great, every single song. Like, and
Yeah.
it's that thing that as opposed to last week we were talking about Damn Yankees, where some of the songs, it was like, why is there a song here? Why is this song being sung? What is the point of this? Every single song comes out of like the action for a purpose. It like does a real thing, like, and it's like builds up. It's like great every time.
On that note, I do want to say that is true, but there is a thing where it's like a majority of the great songs in this could be in any play, and they're just not even about the giant man-eating plant in the room, which is good. Which kind of highlights how good they are, is that if they weren't good, you would be fucking bored with these two people singing about them being in love.
Right. Suddenly Seymour absolutely could be in any show. You're right.
Yeah, exactly. But and it's also like it's so good that you don't care. You're not like, come on, let's get back to people dying at all in the entire thing.
And I also think that it's a testament to, at that point in the story, those characters are so fun, and the performances. I mean, like, oh, we got a cat. We got a cat behind you. That's really exciting. That's really awesome.
Oh, right there. Let me get him in the shot.
No, it's perfect. Yeah, but thank you. Like those two performances. I mean, Ellen Green is, I mean, literally is, like, she originated the role, then in the movie, then like she even has come back and like done it, and like that's her. Like, and that, like, if that's like the only character anybody ever knows of Ellen Green, like, what an impact, because she's awesome. And then this
amazing
is like
performance, and like most other performances in the movie, every stage show, I feel like, is trying to be exactly like them, because they
copied
got
her.
it.
They're just trying to copy her.
Perfect.
Right.
It shows how fucking spot on they did it in the movie. That I feel like every single leading actress who is trying to do this role in a musical is like perfecting that squeak to be just like
or
her.
Doing their twist on it, but it's still, that is what they're doing the twist on, is that voice. Like, that is what it's like based on, always
the golden standard.
Right.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of with Seymour is like, you know, Rick Moranis didn't originate the role, but like, come on, the role is Rick Moranis. Like, I mean, and also the role is, I mean, and that's another fun thing with some live shows, is that you do get a fair amount of variety with how people choose to play Seymour. You can actually play him a few different ways. Like, you can play him like a little dumber. Like, you can kind of play him like,
he's way more malleable.
Like, you can play him as kind of like a dumb lug. Like, you can play him as like a nerd or whatever. But like, I think kind of like, especially with like this classic beginning telling of like a very meek guy, I think like, and to me, this is the quintessential Rick Moranis performance. Like, even though, like, of course, Ghostbusters and like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and all these, you know, iconic and like all this stuff he did with like SCTV and all that, but this to me is Rick Moranis's like part.
And he's so good at doing that character that even in the Suddenly Seymour, at like the fucking apex of the song where they're accepting each other and in love, he is still kind of has that hunched over. Like, he looks like he has his hands in his pockets. It's like so perfect that he does not change. He's like, I'm still this guy. I didn't become a hunk all of a sudden. I am.
Because it is like that tone, and it is like such a specific tone, and it's not something that you definitely would see in movies at that time. I mean, like, it's kind of playing with the B-movie kind of type of acting, as well as like overstated like musical theater acting, basically. But like, they do just have that kind of like really cartoony sense, but all the principals are so bought in on it. I mean, you like Steve Martin as well, and like all of them are just like they like bringing like this cartoon like like world kind of that it's so complete, and that's a lot of guts to just be able to do that. Because then on the other hand, I was thinking of we were talking about the Sweeney Todd movie earlier. Now, Sweeney Todd, some of the best parts of it is that there's these ballads that are in between, that are at the beginning and in between, and they have at the beginning they play the orchestration for it, but they don't have them actually singing. They don't have this ensemble kind of commenting on the story to like move it in between and sort of things like that. Whereas this movie is like, yeah, we're going to have a Greek chorus that's like singing all of it. We're not really going to explain who they are. And they're just going to kind of walk in sometimes and sing. And like, and that's awesome. Like it's a musical. Like people are going to go along with it. And so many musicals try to hide that they're musicals. And I hate, that's my biggest, movie musicals, I mean, try to like be like, oh no, they're singing the dialogue, but don't worry about it. It's fine.
That's one of the best parts about this, because not only does it incorporate it, it blends it in such a way where the sets that they have up do seem like sets that, like, they're nice sets, but it does feel like it's on a stage. Mm-hmm. Like it's a stage set. Like it even though it's the city street, it's kind of propped up in a way where you're like, this is just one set.
Oh, absolutely.
And the way that the muses move around is the way that they would move around in a musical, where it's just kind of following them as they go from the one set to the other.
And sometimes they're in the scene, and sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're just kind of they're commenting. And it's fine.
I love that they're there, even if they're not singing. Sometimes they're just standing there, and it's like such a nice touch and it makes it feel I feel like I'm at in an actual theater,
right? For
some of
it does have like a very unit set kind of feel.
I want to talk about the Eclipse of the Sun song. That it feel in any other hands, it's like okay, this is a song about walking down the street to a plant shop.
Yeah.
And it feels like there are like 1,000 different ways you could do this in a normal, boring way. And the way they do it makes it feel fake. Like it's like you're realizing that this is just a propped up, like, weird, colorful sets that they have, and like and that it is on a set, but it just fits so well with the goofiness of. Yeah, and goofiness feels like a bad word,
so
but it's
complete.
Like the doo-wop,
right?
Kind of like phony.
Yeah. Well, and also that's all directly from the show as well, like all of that moment. And I think they really just maintain a lot of the spirit. Like, and so we can talk a little bit into like sort of the making of this. So one interesting thing in my Wikipedia research that I found was that originally attached to direct this was going to be Marty Scorsese, the enemy of Marvel and the nerds himself. Marty was
an Italian hero.
That's right, another one of the good ones. He was originally attached, and Steven Spielberg was going to executive produce, and
I get it.
And
I get it because he likes doo-wop and stuff, you know.
Sure, yeah, and it's Mean Streets, like it's the very like Skid Row kind of thing. He probably would have brought a whole different kind of angle to it, and he wanted to direct it to shoot it in 3D to make it like even like that kind of like a classic like B movie like 3D kind of thing.
And that would have been just, I think the film wouldn't have been good, and it would have been a huge misstep for his career.
I mean, yeah.
It's hard to say, who knows, but honestly, like I said, this fucking movie is the standard bearer for this story, and it feels like this is the way you should tell it. It's just so good on every level.
Yeah, I mean, so Frank Oz is coming off of Muppets Take Manhattan, another great musical, and this is
a Muppet movie. This is a fucking. I will stand by that.
So there you go.
Replace Muppets with
literally
all the extras.
Literally, the last thing he directed was a Muppet. Was like one of the best Muppet movies too. I love Muppets.
Literally,
Take Manhattan.
like the scenes in Downtown where it's like someone singing. And then it cuts to like the homeless guy being like, "Downtown."
Yeah.
It feels like that see a Muppet popping out of a trash
Oh, that
can.
would be what's Sweetums? Is it Sweetums, the really big one? Would be like, "There you go," or maybe Sam the Eagle. Maybe Sam the Eagle does one of those too.
and I feel like it's like, and that's not condescending at all. Muppets vibe lens, the cartooniness makes this interesting and like palatable. And also, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but like most movie musicals, I think in the third act it kind of winds down. It's very front loaded.
Well, we're gonna get into the ending. That is a whole ball of wax on its own.
But I do mean front loaded, like fucking in the first 10 minutes you have the intro, Little Shop of Horrors, good song. Downtown, great song. Like in the first like half hour, you get 5 great songs. You also have the Somewhere That's Green.
Right, and all of that's before the plant even comes to life. And then when the plant comes to life, then it's like a whole other gear.
And it kind of winds down. There's not as many bangers in the last 30 minutes and it's because like the first 30 minutes has so many that are so good that even though the last 30 minutes is pretty good and has some good musical stuff, you're kind of like winding down at that point.
Well,
I found when I watched it.
Well, later on, everybody, it's long, but we are going to watch the entire original ending. And I do think that had they kept that, it would have taken it over the top to make it like a truly perfect movie. Because I agree so basically, and I can say this, that the way that the stage musical always ended is that the plant actually does eat Audrey, and then Seymour's too late to stop it, and then it eats Seymour as well. And then the scene
That's
with
good.
like Jim Belushi.
I like cynical endings.
Oh well, no, Audrey gets eaten. The scene with Jim Belushi happens, where like the guy's like, "Oh yeah, we want to put these all over like in every home like garden store or whatever."
Yeah, we'll take a leaf from it and
right.
plant it.
Yeah, and so then Seymour tries to stop it, and he gets eaten as well. And then they do that, blah, blah, blah. And then there's an awesome song that the urchins sing again, and then that goes to a full company number called Don't Feed the Plants, where typically when you see it, like there's some way that they have made Mushnick and the dentist and Seymour and Audrey come back out, and they're like painted green, or they like have like leaf around them, or like sometimes like the vine comes out and they they pop out of like the like classic mouths and stuff, and they sing too, like they're inside.
Which is an homage to the first movie, where at the end of that one, Seymour dies, and the whole thing is kind of funny. Even the whole thing, it was like made in a weekend. Like it was made in 2
I've never
days.
seen it. I've never seen the original.
I just watched it. It's on Daily Motion if you want to look it up.
Oh, okay.
It's interesting to see Jack Nicholson being like a weirdo. You don't even recognize him as Jack Nicholson at the beginning of the scene. You're like, holy shit. But it's like weirdly comical. It's very Jewish humor. That's like part like it's based off Jewish backgrounds and stuff in LA, and it's all very like kind of funny and weird, and they don't know what they're doing, because at first it's kind of funny, then they add in 2 detectives in a subplot to make it like film noir, and like they're just throwing everything in the fucking barrel, and the ending though is fucking weird, because like they find the plant and like after it ate Seymour, and it opens up and it's like a weird plant like flower face that he has, and it's like uncanny valley because the effects weren't good enough to like render so it's like it's very strange to just look at and see talk.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of like one of the last frightening things, so I'm glad to see that they like bring that up.
I mean,
again.
I've also seen, because it is really cool to see it live, to see how they do the puppetry of it, because even if they go and, like I said, so there's a lot of different ways that people can do it. There are also companies that are like, rent an Audrey 2. Like, this is an Audrey 2 you can rent.
Yeah.
And like it's like the classic Audrey 2. but also sometimes, and you know, the rights are like, you don't have to do that. You can also do your own thing. And so I've seen my friends at Still Point Theater in Baltimore have my friend Danielle Robinette, who is an awesome 6'4" Amazon woman who played it, and they just basically put her in like crazy drag makeup with like green and leaves all over her, and like
like
an
a
arm.
poison ivy.
Yeah, kind of like, except like, you know, just one step further, poison ivy or whatever. And that was a really cool way to do it. And yeah, and then like at the end, I've seen them come out where it's like the vines like come out, and then each person is like the puppet, like puppeting the mouths, because usually like when Seymour first starts like feeding Audrey too, like when she's at that stage, it's like there's like you got to have a way to have like the arm in like a puppet. I've seen it where they've had a false arm like holding like around it, and then actually the left arm is like actually in the puppet, like manipulating
and
it.
The link I sent you, it is very funny. This happened at my high school too, and it happens at a lot of high school drama departments where they just have a white 17-year-old be the voice of Audrey too, and bless their hearts, they are trying, but
and that's the thing, is that you don't actually even necessarily, if you're in that situation,
you don't need to be like, I need to nail
his voice.
He was the singer in the Four Tops,
right? Like you don't need to imitate his voice. You could also do like a sort of a white blues rocker kind of take on it easily.
Yeah, you could just be evil. You could just like be you don't need to be like,
I would do like
I don't even want to do it.
I want to do like I would do him like from Louisiana or something, like have it be like some like southern like white guy. Yeah.
Not just exactly try to like be like, can I ask you a question? Kind of like, it's like, whoa, you're going a tiny bit too far there, but
yeah,
you don't know. You're just copying the movie, kind of.
I mean, especially when I was in school, there was a lot that's gonna get away with. But it's funny you bring up the original movie, because the reason that Scorsese didn't direct it was because production got stalled by a lawsuit filed by the film's original screenwriter and actor Charles B. Griffith.
How'd they get past that for the Frank Oz one?
Well, no, this is for the movie. So the off-Broadway musical, I guess, was kind of a hit, and so then he saw they were making a movie, and he's like, no, you're gonna like, I need to be cut in on this or whatever, and I guess they eventually worked that out.
So he couldn't work that with Scorsese.
Yeah, and Scorsese like walked in that interim, like when it was delayed or whatever. And so, he's like, no, I'm going to do Kundun or something. I don't know what the timing is there.
Kundun!
Maybe
loved it.
Maybe it's liked it.
I liked it.
Yeah. So Frank, John Landis was also attached to the project for a time. Talking about a bullet dodged there. Oof. Bad man. The bad man, bad son.
I mean, yeah. And again, though, it's like, it's one of those things where, like, fucking, you can't imagine someone, because of the Muppetness, because of the cartoonishness of it, you just can't imagine these scenes if they were from someone who tried to make it a teensy bit more realistic.
Well, and Frank Oz initially passed on it, and then but then he said, according to the Wikipedia, then he later had an idea that got him into the cinematic aspect of the project. So I guess probably he was like, oh, they're Muppets, or like, and seeing their human Muppets, maybe like that's like the thought he had that unlocked it for him, and then he was into it, and apparently he like would just go to, for like weeks he was just going to the off-Broadway show like regularly, like all the time, and then the studio wanted to have like Barbara Streisand or Cyndi Lauper for Audrey, and Frank Oz is like, no, nobody else is going to play this but Ellen Green, because at that point he had seen the off-Broadway show so much, he's like, no, she's the part.
Right, yeah. That would be insane.
I know,
but
would it be good?
one thing I do want to say about Wikipedia recently is I did a tiny bit as well, and I saw one thing that I totally disagreed with on Wikipedia. In the first movie, there it is like the shop gets more business because once they put the plant out, two like young white college girls come in and they're like, "We're doing the float for the parade, and we need 1,000 flowers," and that's like the thing. And in the Wikipedia, it says that they adapted those girls into the Muses, and I'm like, no, those girls are Christopher Guest.
Right.
That's yeah, they got adapted into the people being like, wow, what a great plan for like a
Yeah,
20-second sequence.
they
It's
never
like the
come into the
Muses
shop.
are yeah, there's nothing like the Muses.
I don't think they
in
come into the shop.
first
I mean,
one.
they interact with, like, he gets Mushnik gets on him for loitering and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't think that they ever come into the shop.
Yeah, there's no like it's not like, oh, in the first one there were 0 black people. So it's not like they're like, oh, those are the three. It's like, no, they were specifically added for the musical. And I think they were given names for like the different soul groups, right? At the time. There was something about that, but it could be more Wikipedia slander.
That is
like their names are like Aretha and whoever else was big.
Crystal, Ronette, and Chiffon are their names.
Yes, and I guess those are supposed to be references to different soul, like, in R&B singers of the time. I guess that's what I read, but I don't know. I just said they lied.
They
so.
are maybe one of my favorite parts of the entire movie. They're just so good. All their songs, and like that's the thing is that a lot of like not a lot, but like a good handful of songs get cut from the stage show. None of their songs get cut. One gets changed. One gets like tweaked. The "You Never Know" is that was like a different. It's like a slightly different song on the stage show, but they keep all their songs because they're so good.
That's so good because even the one there's like just one, kind of like a more salsa-y number where they're all in red on the rooftop. That's kind of really just inserted there. Where if it wasn't, like I said with the songs, like if it wasn't good, you would just start getting annoyed and being like, where the fuck is the big man eating plant? But because it's so captivating and shot so well, and they're singing so well, you're just kind of like, yeah, this is part of the movie. This is the experience.
Yeah, I mean, it is just really fun how they have a lot of fun with that set. You are always aware that when they're in the alley having a scene that like, oh yeah, you know where that alley, like they've shown you the geography, like you know when they're standing up on the fire escape, like you've seen them, like, so it's just kind of, it is so fun how they like really bring it to life like that.
There's a part in the opening number where they're descending, it's at the very end of the opening, they're descending the staircase towards Seymour, and the way the shadows are covering their faces as they enter, they're on the line, the three of them in a line, and as they go, it's like it's covering up and showing their faces, and it almost perfectly coincides with the parts that they're singing. And it's like it's as they're descending, and it feels like so fucking coordinated that you love it. And it's the fact that they show up in all these different costumes, and they have the fucking part where Mushnik or whatever gets eaten. That part where they're just in the back behind the glass. It's like just finding just different ways to shoot them,
and they're having
a different way every time. It's good.
I also know that just from talking to a lot of people just from doing theater, that these are like dream roles no matter what. Like especially if you're a woman of color, like they look, it's like so much fun, these parts. I mean, really every part in the show, Mushnik's kind of lame, whatever, but like most of them are like really fun, but like they get to do so much, their songs are so fun, and also singing in harmony with people. I mean, when it's like really like tight and good and you like are in that groove, there's like, that's like so satisfying. That's even better than like rocking a solo on your own.
Yeah, and to be like, it's a part that must be fun because you're just belting out your entire performance. There's no need for you to Seymour or anyone else to talk in dialogue. You're just you're part of the audience. The audience is connecting to Seymour because you're the one carrying them through the entire story.
Well, and we also, while we're talking about how great that opening song is and all the songs are, we have to shout out. I say, and this is my hot take of the week, everybody. Strap in. If there's any musical theater purists watching right now, I say Alan Menken and Howard Ashman, better, more important, more culturally relevant composing duo than Rodgers and Hammerstein. Don't at me. Don't at me. That's what I'm saying right now. Ashman, R.I.P. R.I.P. Howard Ashman. If he had lived, older than 41, tragic loss due to AIDS, of course, but like he was a brilliant, and Alan Menken's had a long, great career, but if the two of them could have kept going, man. That's why those Disney musicals started to kind of fall off a bit after Aladdin. But
like I said, you said this to me, and I was like, I trust you.
You don't know.
Because you know what?
Well, to give you
I gotta.
Well, suffice it to say, they're thoroughly canceled because this show has a girlfriend, domestic abuser character in it who is clearly signaled to be a very bad guy. I mean, they don't make any, like, he's the first one killed and it's like it's good he's dead because he's very, very bad.
And the funny, and also it is funny, but it is kind of thing where it's like he's a dentist, where it's like that could also be construed as like it isn't just the tough guys. The dentists beat their wives too.
Right. Well, yeah, and it's also a whole thing about sadism too, and like that's the whole like central like quality of his character or whatever. But yeah, I think that Alan Menken and Howard Ashman, and I mean like all these different songs, and there's so many, like, because you have like the classic doo-wop, you have the classic show tune, you have a classic ballad, you have there's a lot more even variety in the stage show that didn't make it in. Mean Green Mother from Outer Space was written just for the movie, but it was also written by them, and I think it's great. Like, I think that's a really fun closing.
Yeah, it's a great stuff.
Yeah. But I will say, the opening, that classic opening, is so classic that I find it is often ripped off. So I'm gonna show a couple clips now. Oh no!
No way!
I made a mistake. Well, the cropping's gonna be briefly messed up, but it's gonna be fine. Actually, yeah. So that you can watch this too, Fuzz. I should have shared this before, but it's fine. Everybody, it's gonna be okay. Oh no! Don't worry about it.
Hey, you can take my video out. See this stuff. If I'm blocking you, just
No. I just need to fix the cropping. We're all gonna be good.
So what is this now? It looks good. Or actually, wait.
So everybody talk amongst yourselves. This is what we are going to watch. This is the Tony Awards performance from 1990. One of my favorite. I have a whole playlist. Actually, you can see it if you go to my YouTube channel, which everybody should subscribe to. But it's called Tony Trainwrecks, and it's really funny or cringy Tony Awards performances.
What's next, Lord Googoo?
Oh, yes. No, it doesn't work. My Nightbot still doesn't work. I'm still figuring it out.
I know I did that.
So this is one of my favorite Tony Trainwrecks. This is Starmites. 1990 was not a good year for musicals. There was like 2 musicals nominated for. It's like even worse than this year when there's only one person nominated for Best Actor in a musical.
Wait, so what is this performance?
This is Starmites.
From
from 1990. Honestly, I'm not even going to set it up because I think it's pretty self-explanatory. But I'm playing it because this melody we're going to hear, and this is Angela Lansbury because she was hosting the Tonys, and she's gonna call us in here. But this melody, see if it sounds a little familiar to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the cast of Starlight.
I'm not getting any audio.
Oh.
Unless... There, I got it.
We're the Starlights, the mighty Starlights. We fight for the right and tonight to be free.
Oh no, now I've lost both of our... Oh, hang on a second.
I hear it on here. I got it. You're all good.
No, but now your video's gone. What happened? So this guy's a space punk. He's the original space punk. Oh, here we go. So yeah, he's the space punk, the original space punk.
This is so confusing.
Oh no, I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
There's a
lizard man,
like Scarecrow from Batman.
There's a lizard man. Then the guy is the king of the superheroes, the space punk, the original space punk. I don't know what's confusing. And then this is a more recent, and I feel like this especially should have known better. This is Hamlet 2. Have you seen Hamlet 2 with Steve Coogan?
I have. I actually enjoyed it.
It's okay, but this always bothers me because this tune...
It's a 3 out of 5 for me.
This tune here...
Alright, I need to... Let me...
See if this tune sounds familiar.
Horrified and fascinated.
Hey, that's pretty good.
I'm just saying.
But also, this being what it is, I would not be surprised if they were like, yes, we were doing a shitty musical
because
that is copying Little Shop of Horrors.
Right, the story is that Steve Coogan's character is this like asshole idiot that is full of himself, and so he's gonna write this musical, and he would just completely copy a melody, but
yeah,
it's just funny. Then the Starmites was
but it's not. But it's like I wonder if they even had a part of the movie where someone like, isn't this just Little Shop of Horrors?
But that's the thing is I don't think there is that. I do not
so
think
it's
there
like
is
it would
that.
have to. It's either that they're just like, we'll just take it to make it easier to produce this music.
I mean,
if anyone questions us, we could say it's a joke.
It does do that thing where it like changes it just enough, kind of thing, where it's like, where it can go by like the parody laws
Kids
or whatever.
Bob.
Like
Kids Bob.
Well, I was gonna say the worst example of that is the Simpsons the Simpsons opening they did. That was like last year. That was so bad with the Squad, and they were doing West Side Story America, but they didn't actually want to like use the rights to America, so they like slightly changed it, and that just made it even worse. That is truly one of the least funny, worst things I've ever seen, is that thing. Ugh, so bad. So let's actually show some more clips here while I'm in the clip view anyway. So these are some of the songs that are cut from... Let's see. Oh, no, this is the original ending. We'll wait for that. Okay. So this is Mushnick and Son. And this is from the 2003 Broadway production. I think is actually the first, because this was originally an off-Broadway show, and it never actually made it to Broadway, so I think the 2003 might have been the first time it was on Broadway. Also, interesting tidbit, Lady Googoo saw this production when Joey Fatone was in the role of Seymour. So
What?
She let me
Joey
know that.
Fatone?
She let me know that earlier today. She saw this exact revival. But this is the great Hunter Foster,
Wow.
the great Hunter Foster and Rob Bartlett.
He'll think about it. He'll think about it. I don't like that guy, Mr. Mushnick. You should hear the way he talks to Audrey. Something him will know the kid just said he'd mull it over.
We won't listen to this whole song, but we'll get the gist of it.
If she won't let me, why then I leave? Right like where I started, it was broken, starving. Sweet and good and beautiful as she is, she deserves a
I'm gonna mute you really quick so I can hear the thing.
Also bankrupt. What allows? We said they funneled and they left. That's what I did if Seymour left. He's a disgrace to the dental profession. Seymour! Seymour! How would you like to be my son? Would you like to be my own adopted boy? I never liked the blood before, but complications in the drawer. I got no choice but what to call. Say yes, but for Seymour I was. Your dad.
That's good.
Nothing of my family tree. I used to think you left this head, but now I see
That's a Jewish humor I'm talking about.
Sounds great. 3 words with the ring of fate. So say you cooperate with me. The dreams come true.
So, I mean, it's a good opportunity in a stage show to give you a little more to do with Mr. Mushnick, get you a little more invested in his character, so that way when he dies, it's kind of... But also, he's, of course, being completely cynical here. He's not, like, actually attached to Seymour as well, so...
Yeah, it's all just because money.
Right. Now...
Which is also a weird thing to say after I said this.
Hey, cancel him. I can... maybe I spoke too soon when I said one of the good ones earlier. I don't know.
They're literally in the first one. It's like all like even on the Wikipedia, it's like this is about Jewish comedy, and there's like a very long joke about bargaining in like the first 10 minutes of the first one, and I was like, well, I guess that's what they counted as Jewish.
They put that all into the character of Mr. Mushnick.
Yeah, they. Even though when Seymour says, "Oh," he does it in like a in the downtown song.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
All right. Now this is, and I have to say, so we're gonna now. This is the first clip that we're gonna watch. I have a few from this. This is the City Center's encore off centers. I don't know what that means, but it's a concert production they did. And this is Taran Killam as the dentist, and this is the original.
I hate that. Can I preface this with something?
Yes.
Almost every single comedian or improv person I hate has like said that they really wanted the role of the dentist in
Fuzz. I really want the role of the dentist.
No! I do too secretly. I won't tell people that. I won't make it public.
I'm honestly, we are going to watch his entire dentist because it's extremely good. But
I like that, but I would rather have the dentist Seymour. I agree, but it is like. I feel like
I would love to be Seymour too. Seymour's. I mean, I've kind of aged out of it at this point. I don't know, maybe not. Seymour works into his 30s because the whole idea is he's just a loser, so he can be a loser in his 30s easily.
Yeah,
I mean, it's Jake.
I feel like I've heard like Scott Aukerman say he wanted to be the dentist too many times.
Now that, yeah, no, I mean, I can see the red flagginess of it. I can see how that can happen, but this is the original like way that they would do his death. There was an entire song for the dentist's death, and in this production, the role of Seymour is played by Jake Gyllenhaal.
This is going to be a challenge.
Oh, and also this is a concert production technically, although maybe I don't know.
The Prince of Persia himself.
In fact, we're going to want a little gas for this.
Gas?
Yeah, nitrous oxide.
Oh, thank God. I thought you said you weren't going to use it.
Oh, no. Seymour, the gas isn't for you. It's for me. You see,
Same perfect speller,
I really
same.
want to enjoy this. And I find that a little giggle gas before we begin enhances my pleasure enormously. Oh! In fact, I'm going to use my special gas mask. Just relax, Seymour. You with your emotions.
Now, do it now. Well, he's gassing himself to a palpable stupor. The time is ideal, and the moment is super to ready and fire and blow this sick bastard away. Now, just a finger of pressure right here on the trigger and...
So because this is a concert production that's not like a full, like they would, normally there would be a whole set piece and things like that, but they're doing minimal stuff to kind of suggest here. So that's why he's got this giant fish
you won't
on
have
his
to
head.
put up with that tape for another day. Now, for the girl.
What was that?
I was gonna say I enjoy Taron Killam in this actually, but it feels like Jake Gyllenhaal is reverting back to Donnie Darko in his performance here.
Yeah, I'm of two minds of Jake getting really into musicals. I mean, he has a good voice. He's good, and he's obviously a very good actor. I find, especially in his Sunday in the Park with George, I find him doing a Mandy Patinkin impression. And in here he's doing not a total Rick Moranis impression, but I mean, he's like, there's something about him doing musicals that, I mean, musicals are very artificial to begin with, but then it's like, it's a movie star playing a musical actor or something. It's weird. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Now for the plant. Now, yes, I will. But I can't.
Oh, boy, Seymour. I'm crying now. Oh, the things we get. Well, I guess I've had just about enough of this. I'll just take this mask off now and... Seymour, guess what?
What?
It's stuck.
What?
The mask. It's stuck. I can't get it off. Jesus Christ. I could asphyxiate in here. Get it off, will you?
I just want to get a little bit of the dentist's melody here, because when he starts actually singing.
I think this prepared him to be Mysterio.
I don't think
Big
you
orb
understand.
on his head.
Right?
Don't be fooled.
Or sing the Taron Killam. He's like,
It's just the gas. It's got me high.
Yeah, buddy.
Let the cut to save you any moment I can die. Though I giggle when I drool, bear in mind I'm not immortal. Why this whole thing strikes me funny, I don't know. Cause it really is a rotten way to go.
What we have here is an ethical dilemma that's to help him get the mask if he doesn't have.
So that's this song I don't think is that great. It's not a great loss. And same for Mushnick and Son. You don't need them.
yeah, right. Like at least it would be a tragedy if you're like, oh, they didn't put this song and it's actually good, and they included this song where it's kind of a song to get you through, like when there's no more songs left.
All right, now I am going to play all of Taron Killam's Dentist because honestly, he makes some of his own choices in here that I think are really funny and really good. And he definitely does not copy Steve Martin. We'll see.
When I was younger, just a bad little kid, my mama noticed funny things I did. Like shooting puppies with a BB gun. Like poison guppies. And when I was done, I'd find a pussy cat bashing its head. That's when my mama said...
What did she say?
She said, my boy, I think someday you'll find me. Tell me your natural tendencies, babe. You'll be a dancer.
Hey,
Son, be a dancer. People will pay you to be inhumane. It's wrong for the priesthood, and teaching would suit you still less. So be a dentist, and you'll be a success.
Jimmy is girls the leader of the black. Watch her suck up that ass. Oh my God.
I believe these are the original 3 from Broadway, not from the movie, I don't think. Yeah. But I just am really wowed by Taron. Like, he's not, like, this is a concert staging. Like, he's doing this all himself. Like, he doesn't have a whole, like, set and all this. He's just basically doing this all himself.
Ah, shut it up. Open wide. Here I come.
He kind of slides into the key there a bit, but I'll forgive him.
I am your
I love that.
Somewhere in heaven above me, I know that my mom is proud of me. 'Cause I'm a and a success. Say say say
Audiences love a sustained note. And then he gets to do the breathing the gas.
Just it.
Rude Gambler, I was also struck by that moment watching that today when it changes the point of view to the camera being inside the mouth and looking out at Steve Martin,
man,
and then
that is
it's so
one
good.
of
And the
best
tongue is moving
things.
around. Yeah,
The fact that also the tongue is moving to the mouth singing, "You are my dentist," and it
yeah.
actual mouth would
Right.
is insane.
Perfect Speller. This was this was like a concert staging, so it would have been a very limited engagement of, I think, maybe like a couple of weeks or even a week or something. So it wouldn't have been very long. But Taron Killam has done a lot of acting. He actually, Fuzz, cover your ears. He was the second. He was the second King George on Broadway after what's his name? Oh God, Jonathan Groff. Oh my God. Sorry, Jonathan. And Jonathan Groff. There was a 2019 off-Broadway production that he starred in just last year. Now, I wanted to show this part of this. This is the last thing I'm going to show from this concert staging, because this was how they did their plant, and this was kind of, to me, just shows how strong the music and even the book and like all the story and everything, like how it's constructed, that it reads still so well without having any of the puppet, and this guy is also awesome at embodying him. This is
that is such a testament to even the movie, where you have the animated plant. It is not the most memorable thing for the movie, even though it's one of the most memorable things, but you remember so many things from the movie and so many songs.
That even like the
It's more about
giant
that.
plant is just one of the things you remember in addition to all the other stuff. So this is the feed me. This is the feed me moment. So the concert staging for union rules. A lot of the times they have to have the scripts too. So a lot of the times they'll be off book, but they have to like look like they're reading. 'Cause that's like different union rules for that.
You're tracking and saying,
Feed me, Krillborn, feed me now!
I can't.
I'm starving!
Oh boy, okay, maybe I can squeeze a little bit out of this one.
I need some food!
I know, but you can't get blood from
More!
Look, I haven't got any more. What do you want me to do? Slip my wrist? Why don't I run down to the corner and get you some nice chopped sirloin?
Must be blood.
Oh, dude, that's disgusting.
Must be fresh.
Look, I don't want to hear this.
Feed me.
Does it have to be human?
Feed me.
Does it have to be mine?
Clap for the beginning of the song. Wow.
Yeah, right?
Feed me all night long. You can do it. Feed me, Seymour. Feed me all
Megaspell says you look like Jake Gyllenhaal, Fuzz. How about that?
Thank you, Megaspell.
Let's face it, Archie. You told me you eat blood. What am I supposed to do? Kill people?
I'll make it worth your while. What? Well, you think this is all coincidence, baby? A sudden success around here. Your adoption
Hey,
paper.
look, you're a prince. And an animate
Perfect speller. I know that pain of using like the Apple TV app. And it's so behind. I hate that.
To say I can't
So much
do
better on
anything
desktop.
I want.
Like what?
Like deliver power. Like see you give everything your secret, greasy heart desires. Would you like the Cadillac car? Or yes, sir, on that car. How about a day with me?
Oh, no, thanks. It's kind of awesome, but I
How'd you like to be a big wheel? Guided out forever to heal. I'm a plan who can make it on real for it. I'm no genie, I'm your friend. I'm your willing slave. Take a chance, feed me in. You know the kind of he's the kind of red hot treat, the kind of sticky linky things I crave. Come on, Seymour, don't be a klutz.
Yes! You rule.
I don't know.
It's music. Very good. And they did this and The Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast. Are you fucking kidding me?
You didn't have nothing till you met me. Come on, kid, what will it be? Girls, one particular girl. How about that? I'll agree.
I do like this interpretation.
Quiet life.
Yeah.
And give me some life. Think about a room with the rest, wrapped in velvet, covered in lace. A little looking, feel no sense in
I also can't stress how hard it is to like be that supported and soulful and singing while seated. That makes it so hard.
Yeah.
So he is giving like so much. It's amazing.
And it's also the one like a reason why it's good is because in the movie you're never able to replicate that with like what they did with like the slowing it down, speeding up like the frame rate and everything to make Audrey look more alive. You're not going to be able to like replicate that. So just get more like experimental and do something like this.
Yeah.
That just gets the point across and is still like enjoyable to the audience.
That is the like experience of even, I mean, high school productions all the way up to professional ones. A lot of the times is that it's so easy for that mouth to come out of sync like majorly, and so it just looks like it's like blah 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 blah, and it doesn't sync up really well. Yeah, so this is and yeah, doing an interpretation like this is a good way to avoid
To get chopped up and fed to a hungry plant.
All right, I really just wanted to do this part right here. I really want to get to this part. This is one of my favorite parts of the whole show. I do like Jake Gyllenhaal's like fists clenched singing there. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right.
Good stuff.
So the last thing we're gonna watch here, and before we watch it, I'll give a little bit of intro here. So, because you talked about how the end of this movie it just kind of peters out, and it kind of and something that bothers me.
Yeah.
So and in the stage show we talked that everything the plant wins, and it like it's the ending is "Don't Feed the Plants" is the song, and it is in this original ending, the original that finale song. And so it's the lesson to the audience of like, don't feed the plants, and it's it's fun because you know they're all like feed everybody. So this you're gonna see this original ending, some incredible just visuals of the plant taking over the country and then eventually the world. It has an amazing final shot. It has like so many really awesome shots. And it was actually, I think, the most expensive movie, I think that was on the Wikipedia at that point for Warner Brothers. And so much of that budget was this ending. I mean, there's like explosions, there's so many miniatures. They had like all kinds of lots. That's where a lot of the puppetry is, because now there's like multiple giant Audrey 2s and stuff like that. So much budget was spent on this. They go to the first test screening, and the audience is loving it. They love the songs. They're having the best time. Audrey dies, and the theater is silent. And they're silent through the rest of the movie. And after a test screening, it needs to be over 50% to like proceed or whatever in development or whatever the hell Hollywood shit. And they had a 15% approval. 15.
Damn.
So they're like, there's no way for it. So they said, well, this was like in the suburbs or something. Let's try it in LA, like younger kind of crowd or whatever, like downtown LA or whatever, you know. And so they do a screening in LA and it's the exact same result. And so they're like, okay, we have to majorly rework the ending. And so they had to do all these reshoots and all these different changes, because there was just the audience wouldn't accept it, basically. And then what Frank Oz said was that, and I think I said this earlier already, but he said that the audience just couldn't accept seeing these characters die in a movie. On a stage show, you know, they'll come out and at the curtain call and for the finale, and there's the element of artifice, like, you know, that physical body is there. But the movie is, I don't know, it was like too real for people.
Oh,
Which is funny because it's like, how? And it's like, that's the ending is where it was so ahead of its time. Like the rest of the movie, like everybody was on board with, but this ending was, you could have done this 20 years later even. but they just were not ready to see this.
Oh yeah, for sure. That it was just like so. Well, and it's one thing also. We're used to our main characters dying and stuff, and it's like they would have been used to Audrey dying too, I think, but it's because of her singing amazing songs and being like, it's not even really like, it's the performance mostly. It's not even like her character that's like too specifically like extremely likable. I think it's all in performance and song that people get attached to Audrey, and they're like, no, she sang that beautiful ballad. I don't want her to die.
Well, it is true that Audrey is like a pure innocent, and Audrey's death is like the ultimate punishment for Seymour. Because like that's the thing, is like the classic dramatic structure is Seymour shouldn't be able to get away with this. Like that's the kind of thing. Like he needs to be punished. Like he's the tragic hero kind of thing, and he isn't the way it is right now because he just does kill Audrey too. 2 people were killed, and he was sort of responsible for it. But then he and Audrey are going to be happy, and there's maybe another one growing in their garden.
That leads into my argument that Seymour is a classic reply guy. He's a classic reply guy.
He white knighted Audrey.
Audrey just wants to be a trad wife.
Yeah, she really does.
To be a trad wife.
She really does. Audrey is the ultimate trad wife. Okay, well, let's watch this because it's pretty long, and I'll turn the volume down at times because we could definitely talk over a lot of this too. So a lot of this is in the ending version because it collapses on him, and then his arm comes out in the new version, and he like electrocutes him.
Yeah.
But this is how it originally went. Yonk, yonk!
Hey, yonk.
Yonkler, I think you might have missed it earlier. I did determine Little Shop of Horrors is technically better than Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. But it's close. I know Rick Moranis is back in the zeitgeist between getting assaulted on the street and then he's in that commercial with Ryan Reynolds.
Oh no, after he got assaulted.
Perfect Speller, thanks for the sub.
Oh hey, after he got assaulted, I'm sure he pulled up Ryan Reynolds and was like, "Why the fuck did you put me back in the spotlight?"
Yeah, he's like, "God damn you, Ryan Reynolds! I was just chilling with my money." Frank Oz killed it with this movie, and especially this ending too. Like, I wish people could have seen Fred Oz's full brilliance here.
It's a Muppet movie directed by a Muppet. This is all Muppet related.
Yoda directed it. Yoda himself directed the movie. And then this song, I love this song. That ended up getting cut. And like, look, oh, this shot right here, I also love her. The glasses.
Do they not have a deleted scene thing of the Audrey dying?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't even know if that cut exists.
Damn.
So supposedly, like, it was really even hard to find a cut of this. Like, the only versions that existed were like the special effects houses kind of had some like cuts of it. Like some of the original like effects people had the original ending, but like they didn't have. So they like had to find it and restore it, and so it eventually did. They had like a special edition that came out. Like I think only within the past decade or something that they kind of yeah. So this, I'm excited for everybody to watch this.
I don't think it does, Yonkler.
Yeah, Yonk, I just watched it there today, and that was not the case. Unless
Yeah,
there's
that
another
wasn't the case at all.
Unless there's another one of it. Oh, there's such a good joke line coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Eat Cleveland. And Peoria.
It is very good, and it fits in with like in downtown. They're talking about how the bosses suck. It's all about like how commercialism and everything ruins the world.
And that's what gets them to spread, is because they saw money in selling these all over the place, and that's how they're everywhere.
Yeah.
And then Don't Feed the Plants is such a good song. And you can just see how much budget is spent on all this ending. It's...
Oh, yeah. Yonkler, I heard about the remake in 2021. Cat.
Wait. What's that?
There's a remake in 2021.
I don't want to talk about that remake, guys. Also, I don't really believe it, especially at this point.
Wait.
Please see more 2 played by Justin Trudeau. I like that Vegas.
No, I think Justin Trudeau is one of the muses.
I do feel like they would have edited this down a bit. This is like the work cut, so it's everything. But it's still like insane how much was spent.
Yeah, this looks like more money than the everything before it.
I believe it was.
Insane.
And then they ended up not using it. Oh shit! It's like a different cut of it.
That's not true. Where, Yonkler? Where? I'm on HBO Max right now. Let me...
There is a director's cut that exists, I know, so maybe that is...
Let me look it up. I'll look it up for Yonkler. I guess Yonk Yonk.
Ooh, oh, okay. Oh, so it's in the original, like, in the, like, other stuff.
I found it. The director's cut. Wow. I'll have to watch this tonight.
The train going into the Audrey 2's mouth is really good.
It's like snakes on a train.
And it does. And this builds...
Yeah. Yonkler, the interface for HBO Max is the worst one out of all the streaming services.
Oh, something that is in the original version is that Seymour gets there as Audrey is being eaten, and he has a gun, and so he tries to shoot Audrey too, and the bullets like
shows
that she's impervious, and so that was something that they had to cut. And so that's setting up this, basically, that all the army is shooting at the R2-2s and it's doing nothing. And this final shot here, we love it.
Ow! I'm out.
No! The end? Whoa! I like to think that like the test audiences were actually, it was like the classic, the train coming at the screen from like early days of like cinema.
They didn't want to admit they were scared.
The test audiences were like, oh, it's really coming. They're like, it's really well, Fuzz, that was oops, I didn't mean to restart it. That was a really, really fun one. Wow, we got into it. I mean, just one of the all-time greats. One of just
great movie.
It's just an old standby because you can't mess it up. Like I said.
I do blame you for the next 2 to 3 weeks where I will only be singing these songs.
But you aren't that mad because the songs are great.
Oh no, yeah, I'll love it. It's more of a boon to the people I'm around because I'll look at them expecting them to sing along. How could you not?
Right. So I think what we the train story. I don't know. I like to believe it's real because it's funny to me. And so now I'm saying that they also got train storied for the test audience. They're like, we can't release this in theaters. People are going into shock. They're like, we can't. They think they're gonna be eaten by. It's so funny.
Yeah, they thought they were on the train going into Audrey 2's mouth.
Well, the moral of the story, Fuzz, is that clearly Little Shop of Horrors is good. Musical theater is good, actually. Thank you for being here. Anything you want to plug?
My podcast, if you don't listen to it.
It's a great podcast. I've listened to it.
There's everything right above me, actually, so I don't need to plug anything.
Isn't that nice I do that? I started doing that. Like, I think it was like week 3 or 4.
I love that, because I hate... I don't want anyone to listen to my podcast. That's for me to just act like I'm doing something.
That's exactly what this is too. Except we had such a fun time in the chat as well. Everybody, thank you for being here. Next week's going to be a lot of fun. I don't really have any plan besides watching it and like getting increasingly drunk and fucked up. So like we're going to watch some weird shows. So it could be a lot of fun. We're starting an hour earlier than we usually do since it's going to be like a lot of musicals. So it's going to...
What's next? Lord Googoo?
Oh man, thank you for one more of those perfect speller. I love it. So come back for that. And yeah, Fuzz, thanks again for being here.
Thank you. It was a great time.
Awesome. And I will. I'm gonna send you. I think the Sondheim that I want you to watch first is I'm gonna send you the Pacific Overtures original cast. No. It's good. You're gonna like it.
You wanted the Sondheim.
It's good. It's because this is the thing is that you can't hate Sondheim because he's always different. I can't get into it. If you start me on Sondheim, I'm going to be here for another hour. Oh, I can't go to Sondheim Vision right now. We don't have time. All right, everybody. Thanks again for being here. I love you. Goodbye.